Good morning. I'm First Sergeant Larry Patrick of the Indiana State Police Training Division. As you know, the Indiana State Police Department is now starting a physical fitness program for all sworn employees throughout the department. What we're going to try to do in this short videotape here this morning is go through the 9 test items on the physical fitness test and explain each and every one of them to you in detail so you'll understand what we're going to try to do. The first test item this morning is push-ups. What we're measuring here in the push-up exercises is strength of the muscular in the shoulder girdle and in the shoulder area and in the arms, and also muscular endurance in that same particular area. As you can see, Sergeant White is the person doing the test this morning. Again, you must have straight arms to begin the test in the up position with a straight back looking straight ahead. The gentleman laying on the floor has his fists underneath the chest. Again, to get a correctable, scoreable push-up, you must come down, touch the fist, and completely back up, straight arms. Down and up. Again, we have a 2-minute time limit on this particular exercise. During the exercise, you can rest. You must rest, though, in the up position, as Sergeant White is doing now. He's wiping his hands and back down. But you can see he left the back completely straight, back down, and continue the exercise. Again, the number touching the fist in a 2-minute time limit. Mr. Journal is the one holding the fist there, and he is the one that's doing the counting. The second test item this morning is the sit-ups. The proper position for starting this is flat on the back, the unit doing the test item, with the heels of the feet approximately 10 inches from the buttocks, with the hands locked, fingers locked behind the head. When we start the test, we'll come up and we'll alternate touching one elbow to the alternate knee. The person holding the feet is counting the particular exercise. We have a 1-minute time limit on this particular exercise. In other words, it's how many successful up, touching the knees, in 1-minute time limit. Okay, there'll be no resting whatsoever. Once the person rests, he is done. The third item this morning is the sit and reach exercise. What we're measuring here is flexibility of the lower back. Again, that's one of the leading disability causes of personnel on the department, so you need to keep the lower back very flexible. What we're doing here this morning, the unit doing the test, is sitting on his buttocks with his feet up against a box. On the middle of the box, stretching through the trooper's legs, is a yardstick. Sergeant White will hold his knees so they don't raise up. He will reach and hold on the yardstick with his fingers together for a count of 3, as far as he possibly can. Sergeant White was noting that as he was looking in there, and it's measured in inches. Okay, we do this a total of 2 times. The best score for the 2 times will be the unit's score. The next test item, number 4, is the side step exercise. The items that we're measuring here in the terms of physical fitness this morning is cardiovascular endurance and muscular endurance. This is probably the hardest, most taxing exercise that we have in the program, as you find out when you get into it. What we do, the starting position, Sergeant White has 1 foot on the foul line, or any lines, 2 lines that are 10 feet apart. Okay, he has the foot on the line on the word go. He comes across, touches the line, comes back, touches the line. That counts as 1. The scorer is counting. We have a 1-minute time limit on this. The score is the number of times back and across, scoreable in 1 minute. Emphasis is put on not crossing the legs. If you do that, it's going to slow down your time. As you can see, you lose balance. Awful emphasis on placing the unit on the lines, facing in one direction. You cannot turn from one side to the other and sprint to the other side. In other words, face one direction as a side step motion, just like the exercise states, all the way across, all the way back for 1 minute. The 5th test item is measuring percent of body fat. What we mean by this, part of the body has muscle mass and part of the body is fat. Naturally, the better physical condition that you're in, the more muscle mass you will have, and the less or the smaller amount of percent of body fat you will have. Ideally, the best way to get this particular measurement is to put the unit in a tank of water, let him exhale all the air out of his lungs that he possibly can, weigh him, and get the measurement that way. That's a very expensive way to do it. The way that we're going to do it here on the Indiana State Police Department, it was developed by the Aerobics Institute at Dallas, Texas, is to use a pair of skin fold calipers. We have 3 spots on the particular male officer that we're using here today, Trooper Durnall, to measure these. Number 1 is the chest measurement. It is halfway between the shoulder blade top and the nipple on the front of the body. You can see with the X. What we do is we take a hand and squeeze a fold of fat, put the calipers on it, and we'll get a measurement. We'll do this 3 times. The 2 measurements that come closest to matching will be the measurement that we will use. The second location on a male officer is located 1 inch to the right of the navel. Again, same procedure. Holding hands horizontal, we will fold up and make a fold, take the calipers and make a measurement. Again, we'll take 3, the 2 that match the closest is the 1 that we will use. The third location is the thigh measurement, again on the right side of the body. We'll have the unit take and put his weight on his left foot, in other words, relaxing the right leg. Okay, halfway between the kneecap and the top of the pelvic bone is the location that we'll use. Again, fingers horizontally, we'll make a fold, take a measurement. We'll do that 3 times. We'll use the 2 that match the closest for the measurement. Okay, we take these 3 measurements then, and we have a formula that we use, compute it in the computer, come out with percent of body fat. In taking skin fold measurements on female officers, we have different locations than on a male. Basically, because females being built different from a man, they have percent of body fat is a little bit different in different locations. So we only use 2 particular locations. The first one is the thigh measurement. It's in the same location as the man, halfway between the top of the pelvic and the knee. Again, we'll use 3 measurements. It's always on the right leg. The 2 that match the closest, that's the measurement that we use. Okay, and the second and last location on a female is what we call a suprailiac. It's the top of the pelvic bone on the right side of the body, and then approximately 2 inches above that, where we have the X marks. Again, using the fingers horizontally, we make a skin fold measurement. 2 that match is the measurement that we use. Again, using these 2 measurements, we put them in a computer with a different formula than the male officer, again, because they have a different body composition, and we get percent of body fat for the female. The 6th exercise on the test is what we call the zigzag. What we have here is a set of cones in a rectangular position. It's 10 feet between the cones on the end, 15 feet between the cones on the side, with 1 cone then directly in the middle. What we're going to do is run a figure-8 pattern through the cones for 3 complete cycles. On the stopwatch, we'll get a score, and that will be your time. Okay, the unit doing it, Sergeant White, you should make sure that your shoes are good and clean on the bottom. If they have dirt or if they're wet, you won't get a good score. You'll slide around. Also, make sure that you have a good pair of tennis shoes to run this. Again, he's in the ready position. The command will be ready, set, go. Again, he comes around the middle cone, through the end, around the middle one again, across the end. That's 1 cycle. He will do this for 3 complete cycles for a score. Again, to get a better score, you stay low, lean into the exercise, keep the feet moving at all times, come as close to the cones as you possibly can without knocking them over. The 7th test item is what we call a twist and touch. What we're measuring with this particular test item is the flexibility, again, of the abdominal area, the stomach muscles, the muscles here on the side of the body, and also in the lower back. Okay, have the unit doing the test come up against any kind of a wall such as we have right here. Okay, get him to where he can bend over and touch the floor without his buttocks hitting the wall and knock him away. Then mark an X halfway between his 2 feet on the floor. Also put 1 between his shoulder blades here on the wall. Okay, speed should be emphasized in this particular exercise because we only have 20 seconds that we're going to time the number of times that he will start from this position, come down and touch the floor, and back up and touch the wall. Okay, are you ready? Ready, set, go. 1, 2. We do this for a total time of 20 seconds. The total times that he touches the floor and touches the wall. Stop. The 8th test item is the bench press. So what will be a maximum bench press with a maximum weight for 1 time and 1 time only. Have the unit come in, get comfortable on the bar and the bench. As you can see here in this particular case, we have a freestanding weights. In some cases, you may have a universal machine. And when you have those kind of things, you won't have to have the two instructors here on the end lifting the bar off. Okay, he should have both feet on the ground. He should be properly warmed up prior to laying down, or in other words, he should be ready to go. If he starts here at a real low weight and tries to work up, he'll burn himself out and he won't be able to lift his maximum weight as he would if he went the other way. Have him get the proper grip. Again, in the proper grip, I mean by that the hands should be approximately 6 to 10 inches out away from the midline of the body. In other words, my hands here are where his shoulder blades are, should be 6 to 10 inches outside of that. It will be a forward grip. Again, the unit doing the exercise gets the proper grip. When he is ready, the two instructors will lift the bar off and out. Okay, when he says he's ready, we'll let her go. We bring it all the way down and we blow it right off the chest. Okay, he's done. We take hold of the bar and we put it right back here. Again, emphasizing exhaling when we move the weight off the chest. In other words, we'll breathe in and then we'll blow it right out, blow it right off the chest. Again, maximum weight for one time only. The ninth and last test item is a 1.5 mile run walk. I say run walk because some people won't be able to, when they first start on the first test, be able to run a 1.5 mile distance. Hopefully by the end of the training period that they have, each and every time they will be able to do that. So in other words, it's covering a 1.5 mile distance as fast as you possibly can. If you have to walk some, fine. Hopefully be running. Okay, we get the group out here. It can be group. We have 2 people here today, up to as many as 10. We'll say ready, set, go, and we'll start to watch. Okay, here at the Academy we have a nice asphalt pavement. Again, it doesn't make any difference on what kind of pavement we have to run on, whether it be asphalt, concrete, dirt, whatever. Again, after they run their 1.5 miles, they come by the start-finish line here again at the end. We will call out their time as they come by, and they will remember their time. 9 minutes 10, 9:15. We called out their times, they remember their times, and the person taking the scoring will write them down and the test is over. We've tried to show you here in this short videotape this morning the 9 test items that we'll be using to test the people that volunteer for the program. The way we look at the tests is the fact that we're going to use it as a vehicle to show how you progress from one test period to another. You know, in any physical fitness program, you have to have something to kind of motivate you and move you along. And when we have these test items that we can show that you are improving, and I think you'll find that you improve very rapidly if you stay with the program, and no more than a matter of weeks you'll show some drastic improvement. To give you an idea, we keep a record here at the Recruit School of records on the 9 test items. To give you something to shoot at this morning, I wanted to tell you what the records are for all the 9 test items. On the sit-ups, the record is 87. That's held by Trooper Michael Medler out of the 31st session. On the side step, Trooper James McGee at Lafayette from the 31st session has the record. It's 32, which has been held, as you can see, both it and the sit-ups for quite a while. On a 1.5 mile run, Trooper Rudolph Item from the 34th session has a record of 7 minutes and 57 seconds. Again, I imagine that record will hold for a while. On the twist and touch, Trooper Doug Theobald from the 35th session has a record of 28. On the zigzag run, Trooper Kim Orange from the 32nd session has a record of 18.4. Nobody has even come close to that since he set that record. On the push-ups and the 2-minute time limit, Trooper Larry Russell from the 36th session holds a record of 115 push-ups, which is quite an achievement. On the sit and reach, Trooper Doug Theobald again has this record. He's from the 35th session, 28 3/4 inches. In other words, he reached past his feet 13 3/4 inches. That's quite an accomplishment. He's quite flexible. On the bench press, 1 maximum time, Trooper James Hickerson from the 35th session has a record. Bench press 340 pounds, 1 time maximum. And we ran out of weights, or I believe he could have went quite a bit higher than that. Trooper Larry Russell from the 36th session holds the record when you compare what his body weight is versus the bench press. Trooper Russell weighed 168 pounds and he bench pressed 275 pounds, which is over 100 pounds more than he weighed. Again, we thank you for the time. We hope the film here has been beneficial.